Well, hi, everybody. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and we're about to lay down on the floor for today's yin yoga experience. Today I encourage you to have a block nearby, and you also might want to have like a nice, big, cushy, smushy pillow. We're going to lay down on our bellies and get started in alligator. Okay, but keep those props nearby. I've got this nice pillow here on my chair. I've got some blocks over here as well. And then there's also some great pillows on my couch if I need to reach for them. So we're starting off laying down on our tummies. You can make a nice little pillow with your hands to place your forehead on. Start to relax into the floor, sinking your chest into your mat space, finding some heaviness of the inside of your elbows and just starting to slow down your breath. We're going to hang out here for 2 more minutes from right now. Just being and breathing. And while we're face down, I want you to think towards creating some big space in the backside of the body, feeling expansion on your inhale, on your backside ribs. And on your exhale, just sinking into the mat a little bit more. You're having your own bones or no bones day. And just imagine this is what a no bones day feels like. Starting to work to quiet your mind while focusing on your breath. Now is a good time to set an intention for today's class, whether you're focusing on a positive affirmation to help you to challenge any negative thoughts or ideas. Maybe you're sending some positive energy out to someone else. Ideas for solid affirmations are thoughts like, I get better every single day. I am responsible and I deserve good things. If any of that sounded meaningful to you, in your silent moments between your breath, between your focus on your stretch, come back to that positive thought for yourself. And I encourage you to also use your breath to really think about how and where you're feeling stretches or stress. You know where you tend to actually hold your tension and how you hold your tension. So every inhale, check back in with those spots. Did they fire back up? Are they as relaxed as possible if they're not engaged in the current stretch or movement? We're going to stay on our bellies for a little bit, but next up is going to be Sphinx, I believe. It sure is. So go ahead, bring your elbows underneath of your armpits. Ideally, make sure that you're not sinking into shoulders. So you're working to actively lift your chest up off of the floor. Pelvis presses down towards the mat. Might feel good to be engaged in the lower half of the body, but feel free to relax as much as possible. If it's too much on your low back to have your arms, elbows underneath of your chest and shoulders, you can still have this big, proud lift of your chest, even if your arms are a little bit further out, which can help relieve the tension. So, shoulders pulled down and back away from your ears, no matter where you are. And you can stay right here in your Sphinx as is. If you're looking for more of a low back stretch, simply bend your knees and allow your heels to come closer towards your glutes. And if you did that and it feels too intense, then simply release the tops of the feet back down to the floor. We've got less than a minute to go right here. If your head feels heavy with your chest still lifted, you can even bring your chin to your chest extra little stretch across the back of the neck for the next about 3 normal people length breaths. Or rather, how long I think you breathe. Isn't that sweet? I think that you're normal people. Okay. If your knees are still bent, we're going to exhale, release the tops of the feet down to the floor. You can release your chest down to the floor for a moment. Make that pillow with your hands again. If your low back is still feeling really tight and tense, bend your knees and windshield wipe your legs. Otherwise, you can keep your feet on the floor for a couple resetting breaths in alligator. Release your feet back down if you'd bent them. Bring your hands close by your chest. We're going to press ourselves back into child's pose, one of our longer holds for the day. Feel free to open your knees a little bit wider. Bring your toes together. You can stretch your arms as far forward as you would like. Make this pose personal to you. You want that extra stretch in your back and your shoulders, tensing your fingers with your arms nice and long might feel good. And if that feels like too much, take a generous bend of your elbows, as generous as you need. If you don't want your head on the floor, you can maybe place it on your pillow hands or your actual pillow or use a block. So we've got 4 amazing minutes right here. Start once again to use your breath. Inhale. How do you feel? Where do you feel? And exhale to let go, release judgment and expectations. Be so proud of whatever your body is doing right now, of all the amazing things that can happen, however you're feeling, and whatever today brings. We're down to our last 2 minutes here in child's pose, and I hope that you're feeling so relaxed and in your breath and in this moment. But if your mind is still wandering to all the things that you need to do or have happened, yada, 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 that's normal too. I just encourage you to do your best to say, hey, brain, this is my time. Whether that means taking the intention towards counting the length of your breath to be here in this moment, in this movement, and this breath right now. We're coming back to your positive affirmation. There is no one better to be than myself. Today is going to be an amazing day. My feelings matter. I get better every single day. If you've moved your hands, go ahead, bring them back uh, in line underneath of your shoulders. Press yourself up slowly into tabletop. Make any adjustment that you need with your legs and take a little cat cow. 1 minute of free movement, just seeing, feeling, noticing how your body feels, where you might need a little bit of an extra stretch. We've got some big hip openers, side body stretches that are going to come your way at the end of this minute. So shake, wiggle, breathe into wherever you think needs more space to help make it happen. Okay. Next up, you are able to use your block if you want. I'm going to turn around just to show you what's happening. We're going to come into either hero pose, the Vindrasana, where you're going to sit your glutes down between the soles of your feet. But depending on how tight you are, they might not just go there. So if you don't want to use a prop, that's okay. You can have your hands on the floor and you can work while keeping your knees on the mat towards the idea of sitting your seat in the bowl between your feet. And if that's still like, no way, Jessica, then just go ahead and grab your block and you can sit on your block and just find some relaxation right here. We're going to hang out in this kneeling position for 1 more minute, however felt right for you. Back to your breath. All right. Uh, let's press ourselves up onto our knees. So coming up onto your knees from kneeling, you can move your block to the side, move it to the right side. We'll use it over there in just a moment. I'm going to turn sideways just so you see what's happening. Knees stay where they are. Shift your feet a little to the left. So our legs are starting to come into 90-degree angles, and we're going to sit ourselves down in these 90-degree angles. Maybe your right foot's really close to your left thigh. Maybe you choose to open your feet a little bit more. For this first minute, I want you to work towards the idea of getting your left glute to the floor. It might not, but you're doing your best, okay? So find some stillness, find some breath and some focus, and I promise we're going to change the stretch to be a little bit easier in just a few breaths. If this is still too much, even just trying on your external hip, bring the top of your foot down to the floor, similar to how it just was in that half hero. Brings the stretch into your quad as opposed to the side of the hip, side of the glute. Might feel a little easier. All right. My knees are pointing to the right. Whichever direction your knees are pointing in, that's the side that we're going to twist towards next. So you can place your block on the floor. Okay, if that left glute rises, maybe your hands are just in the space in front of you with that nice long back and shoulders away from ears for kind of a spine twist hip opener. Or maybe you use your pillow, you use your blocks, you come a little closer towards the floor. Re-explore what's happening with your feet. How many 90-degree angles can you still have in the lower half of your body? We've got just over a minute right here. If you're melting all the way down and you find that it feels good to put an ear on your block, just notice which ear you have down on this side so that on the opposite side, we make sure we put the other one down. No pressure. You don't have to. I don't want to put my ear on the floor. It's a little too far for me today. 1 minute left. So check out if wherever you are, if your shoulders are rounding towards your ears, and can you create a little bit of length in your spine, pulling your shoulder blades down and back, a little engagement possibly through the lats, a little extra stretch for the second half of this minute right now. Take your time. Let's slowly, carefully press ourselves up. From here, both legs are going to extend long in front of you for a moment in staff pose. You don't have to turn around. I'm just going to twist to give you a little example. It's pretty normal if you're feeling really tired, tense, tight, that when you came into staff pose, your shoulders are maybe behind your hips. There's a lot of rounding in your back, and that doesn't feel good. I know it doesn't feel good. So I want you to work to find a little lift of your chest and a hinge forward of your hips. You can also help enhance that by taking a slight little step back with each of those glutes. And if your hamstrings are really tight, bend your knees as generously as you need to find this forward hinge to create that length in your spine with your sit bones down, as opposed to rounding right here from the waist. Doesn't feel good. Hinge from the hips is going to feel better. And a little engagement of your belly is going to help make your back feel good because we are in a gentle forward fold. All right. We're only here for a couple more breaths. If you folded forward a lot, carefully lift yourself up, bring your hands behind you. You can bend your knees really nice and wide, mat's width distance apart even. Take a proud lift of your chest, a nice supported back bend. Eye gaze can look all the way back. And then sit yourself up. We're coming into our deer pose in the other side. So just allowing knees to fall, open really nice and wide. Remember, you can open your legs, even wider if you want to. Create as many 90-degree angles as you can with the top of your feet, with your shins, and then work to sit that back right glute down. We're here for 1 minute, just working to sit that glute down before we're going to take a twist. Reminder that if this is too intense on your exterior hip, instead of having the inner sole of the foot on the floor, turning the top of your foot down towards the floor will already start to ease that tension on the outside. Find your stillness. You're so worth it. Also, while we're here, Fred's not going to be here next week. Don't worry, everyone. Don't want to scare you. I know that the dog left and never came back. Fred will be coming back, just having some work done in the apartment. And I need her to not be here. All right, let's take this twist. So twisting towards the left side, and both sides of the body aren't the same. So maybe your twist on one side was really deep. Maybe you could get super close to the floor, and on the other side it wasn't. Yeah, Fred's gonna go on a staycation to my parents' house. Ooh. She originally started living with me because my mom hates her. My dad loves her. Personally, I'm pretty excited for them to hear all of the weird new things that she likes to say since since we've been best friends for the last like 5 years. Okay, just a couple breaths left here. Remember, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving, so close them. Don't allow yourself to be distracted by what's in life. Okay. On your inhale, lift yourself up. If you took that big forward fold, back to your glutes, extend your legs out nice and long in front of you. Hands can once again come behind you for a nice supported backward bend. And then maybe a little bobbing of your knees, windshield wiping your feet. We've got butterfly up next. So sit yourself up. Take out that rounding from your waist, hinging from your hips. We're going to walk legs in. If your knees are coming all the way up towards your chest, I encourage you to sit on your prop, sitting on your block, or sitting on your folded pillow, blankets is going to help you to create a little bit more opening here if your body's not quite ready to do it itself. Awesome. Take the first minute here in this butterfly to give yourself a nice massage of your feet, starting at the arch and working your way all the way up. If you want to start into your stillness now, you can. And if you want to keep giving yourself this nice foot massage and self-love, then do that. Another option is to even like give yourself some zipper feet. So interlacing your fingers between your toes, like you're holding your own feet hands. Isn't that sweet? And if you're still not feeling any sort of a stretch, hinging forward, and if your knees are still coming all the way up towards your chest, even applying a little bit of pressure outside of that pinky toe for a lift. Once you've hinged, you can take that big rounding. Just try not to be rounding from the waist, hinging from the hips. All right, keep relaxing. We'll get one more minute right here because we still got a couple of these hip openers like this coming up. If you're in a forward fold, lift yourself up. Keep your right leg where it is and extend your left leg out nice and long. So we're coming into half dragonfly. Ground through both sit bones and take a moment with that left leg. See if you can bring the arch of the foot all the way to the floor, sorry, inner sole, and then see if you can bring that pinky toe all the way to the floor. So we're just getting some big rotation all the way up into the hip, not just with the foot. Find where the stretch feels good for you. Get that sit bone back to the mat, and we're going to hang out right here in our half dragonfly for 1 minute from right now. If you're feeling really tight, hands can be behind you. And if you want a little bit more, hands can be in front of you. relax, breathe, and be back to your focus, your affirmation, your intention. On your next inhale, lift yourself up. Right leg is still going to stay folded in, but if it's really close to your center line, maybe wiggle that leg out so it's parallel with like the top of your mat. Hands can come behind you. Left foot's going to come to the outside of your right knee. And as you sit your glute down, you're going to work towards stacking both of those legs on top of each other. So my ankle is on top of my knee is on top of my ankle. I came back to those uh, 90 degrees with the feet flexed in towards each other. Pretty normal if you're feeling tight that you're not getting that knee down. And that's okay. Can you still get your sit bone down and maybe place a block between your legs so you have a little something to apply some pressure on with your side of your calf? We're going to be here for one more minute. So find your stillness here as you can. Do your best to come into your double pigeon, your fire logs, your stack legs, to flex your toes towards each other, to keep control of your breath, control of your mind, and just be wherever you are. I bet you did your best to create stillness, and that's awesome. Bring your hands behind you. Let's kick both legs out nice and long again. Bob your knees, windshield wipe your feet. Do what feels good. Feel free to take that supported, assisted back bend, lifting your chest, allowing your head to fall heavy behind you. And then when you're ready, sit yourself up and let's come into half dragonfly on the opposite side. So this time, left leg folds in, right leg is extended nice and long. Check out if you're applying a lot of pressure into your calf, your glutes not on the floor, get that sit bone down on the floor. And then from there, let's create full range of motion into the hip. So working to bring your big toe to the floor, working to bring your pinky toe to the floor. I like this one too. Ooh, poppity pop. Good way to really check out how you're feeling, how your body changes, which side feels a little bit more open, because every day is different. Maybe today you had solid flexibility on both sides. Okay. Find where it feels great to relax. We've got 1 minute right here. Remember, hands can be behind you. Hands can relax on your legs. Hands can be in a forward hinge. This is where you're going to feel the most stretch. This is where you might feel a least stretch, but make sure that you feel a stretch. All right. If that heel's really close to your center line, walk, wiggle it to be a little bit more in line with your knee. That's a great way to think about it. You can shift your weight into your left glute and bring your right heel outside of that left knee thigh. Keep your block nearby or your pillow, especially if you know you're tight. We're sitting down on our glute and we're doing our best to relax that exterior right knee towards the left hip. Flex your toes to your face. Use that block if you need to. Jammed in as high or maybe closer to the edge just to create a little bit of support. We're really trying to find a little bit of pressure. If you don't feel a stretch in your top leg's hip, hinge forward. We got 1 more minute to go right here. Keep both sit bones on the floor. This is our last seated upright posture. Beautiful stillness. On your inhale, lift yourself up. You can kick both legs out nice and long, bob your knees, windshield wipe your feet again. Keep your block nearby. Let's roll down onto our backs or make your way onto your back, however you want. Great. When you're there, bend your knees, soles of the feet firmly planted on the floor. Go ahead, use your inhale to lift yourself up into a glute bridge and then slide your block right at your low back. You can have your block on the high part. You can have your block on the low part. Whatever feels right for you, your feet can stay exactly where they are, or you can walk, wiggle your feet a little bit further away, maybe extending your legs all the way out. Once you found a place to relax your legs, option to inhale your arms up and relax them on the floor. Remember, it doesn't matter what this posture looked like yesterday if you didn't. Doesn't matter how it's going to look tomorrow. You've got to find what honors your body right now. The more that you walk your legs away, the bigger the stretch is going to be on your lower belly, lower abs, into your digestive organs and system. This is our last long hold of the day as well. 1 minute left. If you brought your arms up overhead, you can either make a snow angel and stretch out to the walls to bring them down by your side, or inhale up towards the ceiling and relax them back down to the floor. And with your arms back down on the floor, if you brought your legs out, walk or wiggle your legs back into starting position, soles of the feet firmly planted on the floor under your knees. Use your inhale, lift yourself up off of the block, and exhale, slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. Knees still stay bent. Go ahead, extend your arms wide to the side. Shift your hips over to the left and drop your knees to the right. Feel free to use that block that's there. Maybe you place it between your legs. Maybe you place it under your legs. Maybe you straighten your bottom leg out and keep your top knee bent. And just find the spine twist that feels good for you. You can look in the opposite direction of your knees for a deeper twist. Just a couple breaths here. If you changed up your legs, go ahead, bring them back together. Carefully roll onto your back, firmly plant the soles of your feet onto the floor, and let's go right into shifting hips over to the right side of the mat and coming into our spine twist with knees pointing to the left. Once again, you have the option to turn and look over your shoulder, creating a deeper twist and extra stretch in the neck, and wave to your birdie. Coming out opposite the way you went in, bringing your head back in line with your heart. Rolling onto your back one more time. Firmly plant your feet. Firmly plant your full back on the floor. Bring your arms back down by your side and extend your legs nice and long. Maybe your heels touch and your toes fall open. Maybe your arms are close by your side. Maybe you open your legs nice and wide. Or bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. If your lower back is really hurting, keeping your knees bent and tented is a great way to get more of your spine on the floor. And let's hang out here in a final savasana. Is that okay, Fred? We enjoy some final savasana. You're welcome to stay here in this final Savasana for as long as feels right for you. However, if your time is limited and you're ready to move on and explore the rest of your amazing day, take a moment to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Bring a little bit of blood flow back to your extremities, and then make your way into a comfortable seated position of your choice. When you get there, ground through your sit bones. Once again, take a big inhale, bring your arms all the way up overhead. Big stretch. Hands, palms come together, hands come down to heart center with your thumb touching on your chest sternum in Namaskar. Tuck your chin to your chest and take a moment to bow to and honor yourself. Reflect back upon something positive that you've done today, this week, that you can feel pride in. And I hope that thought brought a smile to your face and that you do your best to keep it there. Till we are together again, continue to think those good thoughts. Speak good words, not just to others, but to yourself. Eat good foods, do good deeds, and take the time to nourish yourself from the inside out. If it feels right, you can bring your thumb up to your third eye, your drishti, your focus. Lift your heart and know that the light within me honors, sees, and is so thankful for the light within you. If no one has told you today, you are special. So please keep being you, keep shining. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, week, month, year. Practice even this breath. Namaste.